Salvador Perez, splash, has tied the game in the second inning. Right field, deep, into the corner. Happy birthday! And the Royals lead in the fifth inning. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's going to be another hot one at Kauffman Stadium. So are the Royals. They've won 9 of 12 as they go for the series today against the Boston Red Sox. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg is coming up. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, huh?
Thank you, Rhino. Right back to you, bud.
Did you get your 4 hugs this morning at home?
Oh, every bit of them. Loved them. Got notes, cards, and breakfast in bed.
Nice. It's been a very quick turnaround for the Royals. It seems like just yesterday they were in the middle of losing 9 of 11. Now they've won 9 of 12. And last night, coming from behind, down by 3 runs in the 5th inning. And they're not done yet. Academy Sports and Outdoors shows us what's at stake today. 4-1 so far on the homestand, trying to make it 5-1 before a 10-game road trip.
Total team effort. Ned has them clicking on all cylinders. Bullpen, starting pitching, hitting, defense. Everything's working. This is what you love. But you know, I tell you, what's really good is the runs are scored. But that starting pitching, everything revolves around in this game, and that's going to continue today.
Chris Young pitched 13 1/3 scoreless innings on the just completed road trip.
Talk about a savior for the team. So far, Young has been the guy. He stepped up. And you know, before spring training, he didn't have a job. Nobody wanted him. But Dayton Moore said, you know what? You kicked our rear ends last year. We like you. We know you can pitch. And he said, hey, I want to jump on. Will you take me? Absolutely. He's going to help take them back to the promised land.
And Joel, when we come back, we'll tell you where Chris Young was a year ago today. And when you're pitching like Chris Young, he doesn't need a lot of run support, but the Royals have 10 hits in 6 straight games.
Miley faced the Royals. Salvador Perez put a pummeling on him, part of a 10-run attack against the lefty. You might remember Nori Aoki hit his first homer as a Royal. It was a grand slam. 3 of those runs went against Miley. Salvador Perez also homered last night. He's not in the lineup this afternoon, getting the day off. Been very hot. Joel Goldberg back here. Drew Butera will be in the lineup. And he, by the way, hit his first big league home run in 2010, a day before Father's Day. And he gave that ball to his dad the next year on Father's Day, hit his first walk-off hit. Let's talk about the Royals starting pitcher, because a year ago on this date, June 21st, it was Chris Young starting right here at Kauffman Stadium against the Royals. And he went 7 innings, 3 hits. The only run he gave up in that contest was a solo home run to Alex Gordon. Jason Vargas opposed him and got the loss in that one. He fired up Chris Young. He'll try to do it again in different colors for his team, the Kansas City Royals. Happy Father's Day, everyone. First pitch is coming up next.
Baseball is brought to you by AT&T UVerse high-speed internet. The UVerse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your local Kansas City Chevy dealers. Come visit for great prices on all new 2015 Chevy vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Another big crowd, and we've had sellouts for the first 2 games of the series. The Royals will hit the road for 10 days. After today's game, they will go to Seattle, Oakland, and Houston, and then back to Kauffman Stadium for a long homestand leading up to the All-Star break. Here are the Boston Red Sox. They have really swung the bats well in the month of June. They have the second highest batting average in the major leagues this month. But they have pitched very poorly, and the Red Sox have lost 9 of their last 12 games. And now they have to face Chris Young as Kia puts us in the driver's seat. He made starts against Minnesota and Milwaukee during the last road trip and pitched 13 1/3 scoreless innings.
Going to have to raise that driver's seat headset in the back if you're going to let Chris Young sit in that baby, because he's tall and he's got some deception with that height. Fastball, I call it an invisible. It's hard for guys to square it up. Opponents are only hitting 183 on that pitch. He's got a nice slider, occasional changeup, but fastball slider mix, he's really good.
Ned Yost is going to give Mike Moustakas the day off, Salvador Perez the day off. The Royals are 3-1 and Buteras starts. Royals defense presented by Ford, and Ned has already hinted that Lorenzo Cain will get the night off tomorrow in Seattle. So it's a combination of players needing some time off, and Ned needs to find opportunities to keep Drew Butera, Christian Colon, and tomorrow Gerard Dyson Sharp.
Works for all parties, believe me. They got to be in there, but also, more importantly, Salvi needs a chill pill. It's okay to take a little rest for Moose as well. Chris Young, there he is. Fastballs, you can see, sliders, that's his main bread and butter, and there's not a whole lot of offense with the opponents. He's been really, really good. It's been not above average as far as his velocity goes. His fastball average may be 87, maybe 88, but he'll top out at 90, 91. Now this is just a, ooh, well, that's the invisible there for sure. But he said a little oops. That happened, at least it was in the warm-ups.
And the way he's going, the hitter would probably swing at that pitch.
You're exactly right. You saw those numbers. Nobody's hitting much off of him at all. Hope it continues. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, this would be a good matchup right away. Mookie Betts, who is 6 out of 9 in this series. He led off last night's game with a home run against Edinson Volquez, and in game 1 on Friday had his first career 4-hit game. Chris Young is outside, ball 1. Mookie Betts has an 8-game hitting streak. Escobar, bare hands. What a way to start the game. The Royals are ready to play.
Got to have extreme confidence when you make a play like that. You know, and it wasn't a slow roller. That was a baby bouncer. Look at Haas right away. I mean, timed it perfectly. Good soft hands. Caught it right in his fingertips. Throws off his right leg sidearm with a lot on it. He's got skills. El Mago. He's a magic man. He's a magician.
Strike 2, Brock Holt, who started game 1 at second base, last night at shortstop, and today he's at third. Both Pablo Sandoval, who left with a twisted ankle, and Blake Swihart, their young catcher, who left with a sprained foot, are not in the starting lineup today. 2-1 on Brock Holt.
Swihart, the young catcher, was really stirring it up for a game and a half until he hurt himself on that slide. That's a play Hosmer made across the diamond. to force him at third on a really an unusual play, but not for Hosmer.
Three and two.
Young wants to do it again. Holt, he's got a good eye. He's got 24 walks.
Out into left center field. Kane cuts it off, but Holt is into second base with a one-out double.
Action player. Wonderful body control along with his bat. He's tremendous hands with staying inside it and going the other way. That's why he's a 300 hitter. Didn't try to pull that pitch. It's right down the middle. He stayed inside it and went the opposite field, dropped it in. Plenty of room out there. I like this player. Does it a lot.
Strike two, Dustin Pedroia, who was back in the lineup last night. He had missed 3 of the previous 4 games with a sore knee. And Pedroia was 0 for 5 last night. He did drive in a run. And now he pops it up into right center field. Alex Rios takes charge. Pedroia is 0 for his last 11. And now Holtz at second base with 2 down.
Hope it stays that way at least through the rest of the day.
If you look at pitchers who have thrown at least 50 innings, Chris Young dominates our Toyota League leader. We're back.
Excuse me.
You feel better?
Yeah, I had a little acid indigestion. Sorry.
So anyway, Chris Young, he has really dominated in several opponents' batting average categories when you're looking at pitchers with at least 50 innings.
Yeah, you know what's amazing is when he's on his game, he pops hitters up. I mean, it's not like he's a guy who gets ground ball outs. Not a lot of fly ball outs, but he pops guys up.
Kane is there to make the play in right center field. So the Red Sox get a one-out double, but Holt is stranded, and now Young has 14 in the third consecutive scoreless innings. Phone calls before the Royals took the field this afternoon. In first place, 3.5 games, in front of Minnesota. And then the Royals are gone for 10 days. That'll put an end to a stretch of 17 out of 22 on the road. Then the Royals are home for quite a while. Our State Farm batting order for today. Several Royals move up with Mike Moustakas and Salvador Perez out of the starting lineup. Alcides Escobar had the right idea, and he's been swinging lately at the first pitch. If he likes it, this time tried to drop down a bunt.
Why not? That's what you want. Fair or foul. That way you get another chance.
Royals are facing 28-year-old Wade Miley in his first year with Boston. That ball's hit well, but Pedroia backs up to get a nice long hop and throws out Escobar. Joel was just telling us a few moments ago, Wade Miley, last time he faced the Royals was in Arizona on August. He gave up a career high 10 runs. Salvador Perez hit a 3-run home run. Billy Butler hit a 2-run home run. Nori Aoki hit a grand slam. He didn't hit it off of Miley, but 3 of the runs were charged to Miley. Strike 1 to Lorenzo Cain.
It's not an overpowering pitcher. 88 to 92, 4-2-seam fastball. A little bit of sink. Like that one there. Of course, that was his changeup. Slider and a curve. He's got all 4. That curveball of his is a big one. 12-6 on the clock. Has that kind of rotation. Uses more curves the second and third time through the order. Changeup.
Dan Bellino says no swing, and we thank him for holding his arms out there long enough so our camera personnel could capture it for you at home.
Royals are going to have to watch out for that changeup in fastball counts, though, because he'll throw it when they're least likely to expect it.
Lorenzo Cain had a career high 3 stolen bases last night, and he was also caught stealing. There's the changeup and a good one. 2 down in the bottom of the first inning. Now look at the Red Sox defensively. You're a big fan of Brock Holt, aren't you?
Man, I have 3 beautiful sons at home, but I would love to include him. This kid is unbelievable. He's got speed. He can play anywhere. He can play every day. He hits from the left side, and he hits good. Over 300.
That's a good sign when Eric Hosmer is hitting the ball hard there to the center of the field. So he's on with 2 outs. And Kendrys Morales comes to the plate. A reminder to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite, provided last night by Kendrys Morales as he capped the Royals' 5-run 5th inning with a 2-run home run on his 32nd birthday. And how about that for balancing your books? 286 from both sides of the plate.
It just doesn't get enough at bats from that right side. Just 91 coming in. But he's got power. He just hadn't had a chance to lift any out of the yard from that side, or this side of the plate he's on. 2 different type of loads with his lower half.
Ooh, man, look out. Tom Hallion, second base umpire.
Yeah, that's a chuck and duck to the umpire there. Almost got him. So the Hosmer and Morales first ball whacking. Gotta like that. Look at that ball knuckling out there. Oh, I love that camera angle, that slow motion. You could see the ball knuckling. Try to field one like that. That's a very tough play to try to catch when it's right at you like that, coming that hard. And since you hit a knuckleball, you can't square it up any better, any more perfectly.
Down and away to Alex Gordon. So Miley off to a good start in the inning. Ground ball, strikeout, but now back-to-back singles. Alex lost a 10-game hitting streak last night. He did reach with a walk, and he has reached safely in 13 straight games. And he's ahead 2 balls and no strikes. Didn't mean to. 2-1.
Alex has been on a roll against lefties, especially since May 31st. He's hitting .500, 9 for 18. He's ripping the cover off the ball. Thanks, Holtzy, for that note.
Yeah, thanks, Holtzy. Three and one. Alex Rios is on deck. Been a friendly category for the Royals all year. 2 outs, runners in scoring position. Now it's going to be 2 outs and 2 runners in scoring position. And the bases are loaded for Alex Rios.
Another take and a ball 4 for Alex Gordon. Great job. 30th walk. Leads the Royals.
So he bats for the first time this year with the bases loaded. He has 3 grand slams in his career. Hosmer's at third, a single. Morales at second, a single. Gordon at first with a walk. And Alex Rios with a 6-game hitting streak. Takes down and away ball 1. Hit well to center field. Betts is there. So good fortune for Miley as Rios lines to center with the bases loaded. No score.
Teach me how to play baseball.
I love you, Dad.
Dad, just want to wish you a happy Father's Day. I really appreciate you always being there for me through good times and bad, and I look forward to many more good times. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much for all the sacrifices and every 48-hour shift after always coming by to throw me batting practice, and thank you for always being there for me. Happy Father's Day.
And baseball always seems to have a connection with fathers and sons, and a lot of multi-generations here today. Sons, fathers, grandfathers here. Grandma loves Hosmer.
Who doesn't?
One and one on Hanley Ramirez. In between innings, the Royals grounds crew came sprinting out of the right field bullpen, and they have positioned themselves behind the tarp. They have taken the cover off of the tarp, and there is rain coming in from the northwest. Very high, very deep, and very gone. Hanley Ramirez hits his 15th home run of the year, and that puts an end to Chris Young's scoreless streak. And the Boston Red Sox have a 1-0 lead in the second inning.
Well, if that ball doesn't bring down rain, there's not many that will. I mean, talk about getting under it. Now, we talked about when Chris Young is going well, he gives up pop-ups and fly balls. But this ball was hit as high as it was long. Now he had to know he got all that. But it was so high, it looked like Alex was going to catch it.
So Chris Young went 14 1/3 innings in between allowing runs. That is just the 5th home run he has allowed in 60 innings. Two and two on Bogarts. Yeah, looking at the radar, yeah, there's some rain coming. It may not be very heavy, and I said the grounds crew is behind the tarp, and right before that they moved away from the tarp, so in some ways that's a good sign that they don't feel like they're going to have to get the tarp on in a flash because of very heavy rain, but maybe just taking the cover off in the event that Trevor Vance, right there in the center of your screen, has to put the tarp on. Boy, has the weather changed. It is 75 degrees right now. It was supposed to be in the low to mid 90s today, but storms developing in the north. Most of them miss Kauffman Stadium to the north, but we got the cold front, so it's been a much more pleasant day in the ballpark than we expected. Little pop up to the right side. One down in the second inning. Coming up on the 4th of July, the Minnesota Twins will be here, and the first 10,000 fans through the gates receive a Royals trucker-style baseball cap presented by the Kansas City Steak Company. Then following the game, enjoy a 4th of July fireworks spectacular.
They look like they got some holes in them.
No, they do have holes in them.
Oh, that's the trucker style. My bad.
Ball one to Mike Napoli. Bet your boys would love a hat like that. And that's kind of the look these days, to make it look like it's been dragged down the street by the car for a couple of miles.
It's kind of like those jeans you got to pay $200 for that look like they've been worn for a year. Gee, crackers.
Kids these days, huh, Hud? 2-1 on Napoli.
That and all those devices they play with can never talk to them.
And that's very high in the air. 2 down. Father's Day for everyone, including Slugger. Now, we've seen baby Slugger make appearances over the years, but this is the first time grandfather Slugger has come to the ballpark.
I like that watch. That's a new modern version watch that he's wearing.
Strike 2, Alejandro De Aza. Chris Young on Tuesday at Milwaukee even admitted after the game that he had really good fastball command. Pretty much put his fastball wherever he wanted to against the Brewers. Also has an excellent slider, which he'll throw as much as just about any pitcher in the major leagues. Out to Kane in center field. So the Red Sox were impressive as far as height goes in this inning, and one of their fly balls cleared the fence in left field, and they lead 1-0. Some rain. How heavy, we don't know, but the grounds crew is ready to put the tarp on the field. University of Kansas Hospital injury report. The Royals won't have to worry about seeing Hisashi Iwakuma, which is a good thing. He's been tough on the Royals. He's been out with a lat strain and making rehab starts. Last night with Class A Everett, which is in the Pacific Northwest. Brock Holt will throw on the run and get Omar Infante. So the Royals will see Felix Hernandez tomorrow night. Former Royals farmhand Mike Montgomery on Tuesday. And Roenis Elias on Wednesday, but no Hisashi Iwakuma. Joe Blanton in a fill-in start. Did exactly what the Royals had hoped for and more against the Milwaukee Brewers, going up against King Felix, who has 10 wins already, 10-3.
Performance-based business. You go out and your spot start and you deal, you get another chance. Johan Pino, I don't know if he'll get another chance. It wasn't like he pitched that badly. He had one bad inning, but I don't know if they'll invite him back.
There's Joe Blanton. not just the intensity of the rain could be a concern, but the length of the rain. This is early enough in the game that if it stretches out, it could put both starters in jeopardy.
Would be unfortunate.
So when it comes, and Trevor Vance, not just because he's our guy, but just based on experience, he is the best in the business. And first of all, forecasting when the rain will arrive and knowing how long it's going to last, but when to put the tarp on the field. Christian Colon out to left field, and Hanley Ramirez makes a interesting catch. Decorating a routine play. 2 down. Well, with 2 outs in the first inning, the Royals got 2 singles and a walk and loaded things up for Alex Rios, who lined out to center field. And now 2 outs in the second inning, and Drew Butera takes a strike from Miley. And that's hit hard to Ramirez in left. So Butera lines out, and the Royals are done in the second inning. Boston leads 1-0.
Miley's living right early.
As they come up in the top of the third inning. Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins at 6 o'clock Central, Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. And now the grounds crew is behind the tarp as Eric Hosmer throws his warm-up ball back to the Royals dugout, and he checks the grounds crew. He notices what's going on. Hosmer still leading the voting at first base in front of Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder. So rain will arrive any minute. Sandy Leon came on for Swihart in the game last night. There they are. There are 3 stages of a potential rain delay. If the tarp is covered in right field, don't pay any attention to the clouds. If the tarp is uncovered, there's a chance for rain. And when the grounds crew is behind the tarp, rain's coming. As Chris Young strikes out his first one down in the third inning.
Another excellent slider. Great location. That's perfectly placed.
Second time through now, and Mookie Betts. Second pitch of the game, and Mookie Betts hit a slow tapper toward Escobar, and he came charging in and fielded the ball with his bare hand. And that's over Colon and down into the left field corner. And Mookie Betts has a 9-game hitting streak.
It's a good looking young player. Speed, excellent back control. I like how, you know, he really is flexible. He likes to go down with his feet. He hits with his hands, but he puts that whole body into it for sure. I mean, he's really good at hitting that ball where it's pitched. Uses a lot of body.
Outside to Brock Holt. He doubled with 1 out in the first inning. The Red Sox couldn't get him home. Hanley Ramirez homered leading off the second, and that's our only run so far. A little bit down and away. 2 balls and no strikes. There's a good fastball over the outside. 2-1.
Third base coach Brian Butterfield. Check out where Butter's standing. He's right there. Better watch that hitter, Butter.
That'll be out of play. 2-2. I don't even know why they bother to put the paint in the grass anymore for the coaches' boxes.
Right.
It is a very, very rare occasion when a coach is actually in the box area.
Well, as many years as he's been doing it, he's got a good idea where to position himself, and he takes a quick peek back to the hitter.
Kane brings it down in center field. 2 down. Betts goes back to second base. Tiger fans, Mizzou night is coming up on Friday, July 24th, and the first 4,500 fans who bring their Mizzou night ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition black and gold KC Royals Mizzou cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Friday, July 24th. For ticket packages, Royals.com/special events. Now high to Dustin Pedroia. Chris Young, 6 of his 8 outs have been in the air. What you expect from him. A lot of fly balls and pop-ups when he's right. And the home run by Ramirez was really just a very, very high fly ball that just continued to carry over the left field fence. Wasn't a line drive at all. And Pedroia flied out his first time. 2 balls and 1 strike. Great pitch.
Ooh, man, that is right on the corner. Precision-like placement there.
I think if you polled 100 pitching coaches and managers and said if a pitcher could only throw 1 pitch, what would be the ideal pitch? They'd probably say that one right there. Fastball down and away. Rios makes the play in right field. So that's 7 outs in the air for Chris Young. Royals are coming up in the bottom of the third, down 1-0. Four-year prostate cancer survivor, helped start the Kansas City Prostate Cancer Networking Group. Led by Steve and fellow survivors, the local group provides value support to patients and their families by offering patience, strength, and endurance that is necessary to cope with prostate cancer diagnosis, treatment, and recovery. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game on this Father's Day. And in honor of prostate cancer awareness and research, players today wearing the blue ribbons on their jerseys, similar to the one on those t-shirts, as well as the powder blue wristbands. Some of the umpires are even wearing the wristbands today. Second time through the order for the Royals. The third inning, for whatever reason, is Wade Miley's worst this year. That's hit well to center, but into a cross wind, and that really helped out Mookie Betts. The wind blasting out of the northwest now as the rain is right down the street.
Miley has given up some mileage so far in this one. Royals only have 2 hits, but they have really roped him right at people. Second and third time through, I think he knows it's coming. He better mix in a few more secondary pitches because they're on him. But it's working. There's a secondary pitch, which would be his slider, curve, and change. He's going to throw the changeup and fastball counts at times. Try to fool the hitter.
Kane down to a knee after that home run swing. And why not? Hitting a home run raises a lot of money, $12,500. The home run challenge ends today, and over $2 million has been raised. Lorenzo Cain thought that he was being quick pitched.
Yeah.
And didn't get any help from the home plate umpire.
Yeah, he's works fast. He tries to rush the hitters. So you just slow play him. You step out of the box. You hit on your terms, not on his. Or sometimes the hitter just goes, all right, bring it. If you want to bring it that fast, I'm ready.
And Kane gives him a little glance as he jogs down to first base. Miley has walked his second. And the rain has arrived. It's not threatening the game right now, but it is threatening some fans who now see a flash of lightning to the north. Pitch in the dirt. Kane to second base. Out. Excellent play by the shortstop Bogarts.
Sandy Leon with some quick feet and reaction on that bouncer that looked like it hit either the umpire or Hosmer and stayed right there in front of him. Didn't get as far away as Kane might have thought. Ooh, nice hands. Good pick.
Hosmer singled to center his first time up. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
See where he is, that left knee on the base. It kind of helps him. It lets him know exactly where that bag is so we can get around there and make that turn. And most guys are going to slide to the outer part of the bag, and he did.
Brock Holt throws out Hosmer. Royals get a 1-out walk and send only 3 to the plate in the bottom of the 3rd.
Stadium. Tigers blasted yesterday by the Yankees. The reverse today. Masahiro Tanaka allowing 7 runs and 3 homers in 5 innings, including this one to J.D. Martinez. And the Yankees losing to the Tigers right now 7-2. Chili Davis back in Kansas City had a chance to talk with the Red Sox hitting coach, telling me that he felt back when he played here this was the prettiest park in the majors, even more beautiful. He said now loved the pace of this town, loved his time here. And then I asked him about hitting, because I know, Rex, you were talking about it the other night, and he said he learned from every single hitting coach that he had. Uh-oh, he's going to like that one. Chili Davis loves to talk hitting, every little detail, and he'll be talking with Big Papi about that one. A no-doubter off of the bat, and the handful of Red Sox fans here enjoying that. Last night, Big Papi was tossed. Today, he goes deep. But, guys, I was talking to him, and he said his favorite instructor was Rod Carew. Hud, you mentioned that one the other day. And then he said to me, you know, I loved Hud as a teammate, really loved him. But when he stole home that time, I turned to him and I said, didn't you think that I could drive you in? I've been driving you in all year.
Wow, Goldie, that was the most afraid I've ever been on a baseball field in my entire career. Taken out. David Wells was pitching and he showed me no respect. He went from the full windup and I didn't care who was hitting. I wasn't going to take that and I ripped him off. But all of a sudden I got 5 steps towards home on a straight steal and I was looking down the barrel of a loaded shotgun and chilling. And I'm yelling, "Dog, don't swing!" And there was a photographer from the LA Times that was sitting in the camera well, and it had a picture of me sliding in midair with my mouth wide open, yelling at "Dog, don't swing." And that's the most petrified I've ever been in baseball. It's a good thing I was safe. Check a look at this pitch here. Ortiz hit out of the yard. Inner half. Ortiz is 10th.
Strikes out on a slider, and that is number 2 for Chris Young.
Got him looking for that fastball, but when it puts that wrinkle on it, it really throws you off balance.
And now ball 1 to Xander Bogaerts. Popped out to first in the second inning. One and one. Chris Young has now allowed 16 runs this year, and 10 of the 16 have been on home runs.
It's hard for offenses to mount any attack on the ground, you know, hitting and running on him, or, you know, you can steal off him. Base runners are 89% successful against Chris Young, but it's just hard for you to bunch singles and doubles against a guy like this, so that's how he's giving them up. Long
And
ball.
both home runs have been solo home runs, so
right.
Minimal amount of damage.
The way the Royals are tagging Miley, only have 2 hits, but it could change if the rain holds off.
And Fonte throws out Bogaerts, 2 down. We were showing you a couple of innings ago how Chris Young ranks among major league pitchers in opponents' batting average in different situations. And typically the league hits about 100 against him leading off an inning. He is the best at getting the first batter in an inning, making it more and more difficult to put a rally together. And maybe the Red Sox are aware of that. Now they have power, and the 2 guys that have hit home runs, Ramirez 15, Ortiz 10, but both of those home runs leading off an inning, realizing how aggressive Young is to start an inning. He gets the next 3 hitters, Ramirez, Bogaerts, and Napoli after the home run. The rain continues to fall. We will play on. Red Sox lead 2-0. online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Thoroughbred Ford, for great deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. The benefits of sitting in the crown seats behind home plate, which are mostly empty now because it's raining, and many of those fans are watching from inside, so it looks like a very lightly attended game, but it is not near a sellout crowd, but many fans have gone for cover, and we are playing through the rain, which doesn't appear like it's going to last much longer. Kendrys Morales singled in the first inning. Two balls, two strikes. Our T-Mobile game changer. Way ahead of where he was through this many games last year. I mean, he's still just getting warmed up at this point last season after missing all of spring training and the first 2 months of the regular season. Same amount of home runs as he had in 2014, but over 130 more at bats than he has right now.
Yep, contract situation. Sometimes that business side doesn't work out. It didn't for him last year. He didn't take the qualifying offer.
Fair ball. Long throw for Holt, and Napoli couldn't pick it out of the dirt and stretch at the same time. And Morales ends up with an infield single.
Good footwork by Morales over there at the bag, too. Get out of the way of the first baseman, Mike Napoli. Holt's long throw from the cut of that outfield grass. Look at Morales. Little hop step there. Watch him hop. Over the tag. He's athletic. No, he doesn't have a lot of speed. Now, he's not a speed guy, but he's got feet. He's got good feet, good footwork.
At what point in the season are we going to move on from that?
I just got to tell you, because I watched the guy come into the big leagues, and he's a good player then, and he's still a good player now. But when he joined the Royals, I told you, Ryan, he runs pretty good for a DH. And ooh, watch out.
Which is a big deal, because I mean, you're looking for someone who runs a little bit better than a DH, aren't you?
That's exactly right. You got to have speed, but if you can slug, you don't need as much speed. But anyway, Morales is a good athlete.
And we're really happy for you.
More happy for him. He's helping the Royals. Look at that. Boy, that's a saw job there. That bat definitely died a hero.
Well, it definitely died, that's for sure.
That's a knock.
The Royals have 4 hits, but on my scorecard I have 1, 2, 3, 4 hard hit outs, including Rios lining to center with the bases loaded in the first inning. And now Rios with another chance with Morales and Gordon on with nobody out. Good pitch down and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rios has hit safely in 6 straight. Both he and Omar Infante, who were really struggling about a week ago, now have 6-game hitting streaks. Leon keeps the ball in front of him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Slider, he likes to backdoor that slider to righties. Some lefties try to bury it to the back right leg of the righty. Miley likes to stay on the outer half with it.
Ooh, close.
It's his changeup. Changeup velocity would be anywhere from 82 to 85. Great spot. Changeup, fastball counts. Be alive for it.
That was a changeup that stayed up. Nice grab by a young fan. Underneath an umbrella, brought their glove, got out from underneath the umbrella, reached over the railing and got a souvenir. Out to De Aza in right field. So Miley gets Rios, and now it's Omar Infante with 2 on and 1 out. Well, this didn't seem possible a week to 10 days ago, but our most trusted players, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. Alex Rios and Omar Infante in the last 6 games are hitting .391 with 11 runs scored, and the Royals are 5-1 in those games. Infante had a good swing at a fastball up.
I can only keep them down so long. Hope they can continue to tear it up.
Up the middle, and Pedroia will step on the bag and double play on a close play. Ned Yost is out of the dugout already. Red Sox are convinced they are running off the field. Don Wakamatsu on the phone with Bill Duplessis. And Ned Yost says, take another look at it.
Fonte's running extremely well, getting out of that box. He's gotten several infield hits over the last 7 days of that hot streak he's been on, and yes, he got it. Way to go, Billy Duplessis.
So instead of an inning double play, this could be runners at first and third with 2 down, and Colon coming up. Foot on the bag there, right?
Well, the Red Sox players are heading back out to their positions.
Overturned. In just 1 minute and 6 seconds. So Morales goes to third. Gordon's out at second base. And Infante's at first. And a chance for Christian Colon, who's filling in at third base today for Mike Moustakas. Ned Yost figured he could use a day off, and the Red Sox had a left-hander on the mound. Tough to take Moustakas out of the lineup right now. He has a 6-game hitting streak and a streak of 6 straight games with at least 1 RBI.
Miley has a deceptive move to first base. He's got a high leg kick. He uses his head for some deception to the base runner.
Strike. Colon flied out to left in the second inning. It's just his second at bat of the homestand, and now a little bit inside. One and two. That pitch stayed up, and Colon hits it to the tarp, which, by the way, I'm sure you've noticed the grounds crew is no longer behind the tarp. So it would appear that we have survived this little wave of rain without a delay. Still 1-2 on Colon. Also coming up during the next homestand, Beers of the K as the Royals take on the Twins. That's July 3rd. Join us for this pregame beer garden themed event. A wide assortment of unique beer varieties, live entertainment, and each ticket comes with an exclusive Royals koozie. Get your tickets at royals.com/special events. Beers of the K on Friday, July 3rd. Two balls, two strikes.
I like Colon's at bat going here. He's fouling off some pitches that are borderline. Taking one now, 2-2's got a pretty good count. Miley is bringing that slider in from the back door. That's started on the outer half, and it's ended up on the inside, but look up.
And takes the count to 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Colon hasn't hit a big league home run yet.
Mookie Betts makes a play in center field. So the Royals strand 2, and at the end of 4, Boston still leads 2-0. On your smartphone or tablet, stay connected to the Royals all season wherever you are with the MLB.TV Game of the Day. In-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. You know, maybe a little raindrop here or there, but for the most part, the rain is over for now. There's still more coming in from the northwest, but no delay. The rain didn't really affect the game. Boston Red Sox on home runs from Hanley Ramirez leading off the second. David Ortiz leading off the fourth. Have a 2-0 lead against Chris Young. This is the deciding game of the series. Boston on Friday night won 7-3, and they had a 4-1 lead last night, but the Royals with a 5-run 5th inning ended up winning 7-4. Alejandro De Aza, number 8 hitter, flied to center in the second inning. And he bunts that foul. No balls, 2 strikes. David Ortiz trying to keep the guys loose.
It's always story times in the dugout, especially if you're a DH. You know, you don't have to play the field.
Christian Colon makes a play at third base. Another out in the air for Chris Young. 1 down in the 5th inning. That's 9 of his 13 outs in the air. Two ground outs, 2 strikeouts. Boy, there is some volatile skies above Kauffman Stadium. I mean, an inning ago, the flags were just blasting out of the northwest, and that typically means that we have extreme weather, thunderstorms, rain. That's the first thing you'll notice. And now the wind has completely changed direction. Now the wind is out of the south. So there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on above us. Very heavy thunderstorms mostly miss Kauffman Stadium today to the north, but on a day when the original forecast called for low to mid 90s, some sunshine, a hot, one of those oppressively hot Kansas City summer days. Now we're looking at temperatures in the mid 70s, and most of the fans are back in their seats after taking cover during that rain shower. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Sandy Leon. Kind of feels like early to mid-September right now.
Very strange.
Leon is on with a 1-out walk. That is Chris Young's first. And now Mookie Betts. He doubled in the 3rd inning. That gives him a 9-game hitting streak where he's hitting .545. He is 7 out of 11 in this series. That also includes a home run. Mookie Betts has some connections to the Royals family. His uncle is Terry Shumpert, who spent parts of 14 seasons in the major leagues and parts of 5 seasons with the Royals.
He could really run. Crashed into the wall in Fenway Park a couple weeks ago, and that kind of slowed Mookie Betts down. Missed a few games. When he came back, that's when he got on a roll. Really consistent with the bat. Oh man,
Blasted to left field. That is 3 home runs for the Boston Red Sox. This one with a man on, and Boston leads 4-0 in the 5th inning, and Mookie Betts hits his 2nd home run of the series.
well, that fastball that usually is popped up is just a little bit lower, and so therefore they're squaring it, they're tagging it. See, that it's just about belt high. An inch higher they pop it up, but Betts is really aggressive. Hot hitter, tacks the ball out in front. I mean, he hit a bomb.
So Ramirez, Ortiz, and now Betts have all homered. That's accounted for the 4 Boston runs. Back to Young on 1 hop, and he takes care of Brock Holt. 2 down. So this is pretty typical for a fly ball pitcher, and that's what Chris Young is. He gets a lot of outs in the air, both over the infield and the outfield. But fly ball pitchers, and it's a good day to hit, even though the temperature is lower than what we expected. The ball is going to be helped by the wind. And now Dustin Pedroia hits it out to left center field, and that'll stay in the ballpark and down for extra bases. And Pedroia, who'd been 0 for 12, is on with a 2-out double. Chris Young has allowed 17, make that 18 runs this year. He's allowed 18 runs, and 12 of the 18 have come on home runs. So that's what you have to hope for against Chris Young, because you're not going to string a lot of hits together against him. He has a tiny opponent's batting average. You just hope you get a man on and he doesn't quite get it high enough in the strike zone. And Red Sox have hit 4 home runs today. May make that 3 home runs for their 4 runs. They have 6 hits, all for extra bases.
Left a cookie up for Ortiz in the 4th inning. And then he just turned on it. Rare, it didn't even step Ortiz. He just used his hands, turned his hips. Hips go usually before your hands do. Tenth of the season.
And he's had a down year, but he's had a few at-bats in this series. It looked like he's getting his timing back. He's had a lot of hard hit outs. Three balls and no strikes with Hanley Ramirez on deck. And now they begin to move around in the Royals bullpen. Second walk allowed by Chris Young, both in this inning. Here comes Dave Island. Jason Frazier begins to warm up in the Royals bullpen. Such a fine line for Chris Young, where he places that fastball up in the strike zone. It has to be high enough for the hitter to be tempted and want to swing at it, and yet high enough where he can't do much with it.
Fine line velocity matters too. 1 or 2 mile an hour off, the hitter's bat's going to either be a little bit behind it or ahead of it. Excellent block there by Butera.
Hanley Ramirez hit the first Boston home run in the 2nd inning, and then Chris Young came back to strike him out in the 4th. No swing. .82 pitches thrown by Young. 2-1.
Hanley goes the other way, but his power is more center field to left. You saw that long high fly home run he hit earlier. 300 career hitter. A lot of talent. Been around. Now you know Manny Ramirez is one of his heroes, and I wonder when he came to the Red Sox if he didn't just get those dreadlocks and start letting them grow, because he could be like Manny, being with the Red Sox. I had a chance to talk to him about his dreads, but maybe that's the reason.
3 walks in the inning for Young, and now they're loaded up for Xander Bogaerts. And Ned pacing in the Royals dugout as it appears as though he's going to allow Young to stay on and face Bogaerts, who is 0 for 2. Bogaerts has popped to first and grounded out to second base. Line toward left center field. And this may score 3. Xander Bogaerts hits a 3-run double, and the Red Sox lead 7-0 in the 5th inning.
Well, Ned tried to give him one more batter. It didn't work. Before that hit, the Royals were in this game. Now they still are, technically, the way the Royals can score runs. But they're going to have to do a lot of hit to get back in it.
Jason Frazier into the game with 2 down in the 5th inning. Chevy call to the bullpen. And yet there was one pitch that in the end may define this game. Red Sox had a 4-0 lead, and then our Dodge drive of the game. With the bases loaded, this pitch to Xander Bogaerts.
Not located where Young wanted. Having some issues today with his fastball command. And why wait around? Bases loaded, first pitch, that's the best one. Ramirez bringing the mail home all the way from first base. No problem. No throw.
Now a 4-0 deficit. The Royals can overcome that. They were down 4-1 when they batted in the 5th inning last night and scored 5. And But now it's a heavy lift, down 7-0 in the 5th inning. So Frazier comes on to get Napoli with Bogarts at second base.
Ned decided that Chris Young put those runs out there, and then maybe he can get himself out of it instead of bringing in Frazier or somebody to give him, that might give up the runs, Chris Young's run. So he gave him that leash because he's earned it, and he was hoping he could get out of it himself. Didn't work, backfired.
Napoli is flied to right and flied to center. And he's the 9th Red Sox hitter in this inning. 1-1 from Frazier.
Fastball, slider, split finger. 90 to 92. About the range of his fastball.
It's the 3rd time in this series we've seen a 5-run inning. Friday night, Boston had a 5-run second inning and won 7-3. Royals had a 5-run 5th inning last night and won 7-4. And now Boston with a 5-run 5th and leading 7-0. Three balls and 1 strike.
Frazier loves that outside part of the plate. He can manipulate that as good as any.
Three and two. Out to Cologne, 2 in the inning. Red Sox bat around and they score 5 to take a 7-0 lead. Boston with a 5-run 5th inning. Drew Butera leads off the bottom of the 5th inning. Hanley Ramirez makes a good play up against the side wall to get Drew Butera for the first out of the 5th. And now we can tell you about an exclusive opportunity. For just $25, you can purchase an autographed copy of Royals general manager Dayton Moore's new book, More Than a Season. The book explores the intersection of faith, family, and leadership, and the process of rebuilding a championship culture in Kansas City. 100% of the proceeds from the book support Dayton Moore's charity, See You in the Major Leagues.
Nice play by Ramirez. That ball had a lot of hang time on it and wasn't sure if it was going to stay in. Saw him up at Fenway Park crash into the wall, messed up his shoulder. He missed a few games on a play kind of like that, but this one here had a little bit more trajectory in the air, but stayed with it nicely.
Doesn't mean a whole lot right now with the Royals down 7-0, but they have had several hard hit outs. Escobar has 2 of them, and now he's on with a 4-pitch walk. The last thing Miley wanted to do in a 7-0 game. Let's go to Joel.
Well, I walked into John Farrell's office the other day, the Red Sox manager. It's been a rough year for him, very rough lately. Wade Miley had a big public blow up with him the other day, a couple weeks ago, and there's been a lot going on, but he was very excited to talk about his favorite Northwest Arkansas natural. His son Luke is a right-handed pitcher for the Naturals, drafted in the 6th round by the Royals in 2013. And John saying about his son Luke that they talk and text on a very regular basis. He's coming off of a rough outing where he gave up 7 runs, but the numbers have been very good before that. And he said just the discussions become more and more advanced as Luke learns more, much more so than when he was with Wilmington last year. Keeps tabs on him. He's got 3 sons that have been successful in baseball. One is in the White Sox organization as a position player, the other in the front office of the Cubs. And Luke Farrell, talking to some people, scouting report on him, good pitcher, very smart. Ryan, no surprise. I mean, I know you and I went to good Big Ten institutions, but he was academic all Big Ten at Northwestern.
That's saying something. You know, they don't just give those away in the Big Ten Conference. Lorenzo Cain out into right center field. That drops in front of De Aza. It's Cain's first hit. 2 on with 1 out.
Good placement. Royals have hit the ball so hard today, but it's right at people. Not how hard you hit it, it's where you hit it. And he's able to drop one in there. See if they can mount a little rally. Got to get on the board somehow, some way. Get back in this game.
Eric Hosmer singled to center in the 1st inning. He's also grounded out to 3rd. 1 ball and 1 strike. Joel just mentioned it, but it was 2 starts ago in Baltimore, and John Farrell took Wade Miley out of the game in the 5th inning. He was getting knocked around, and they got into it in the dugout. Napoli gets the out at second base. So 2 down and runners at 1st and 3rd. And at first, it was the company line that we hear all the time when we see teammates or coaches or players and coaches getting at it in the dugout. You know, it's just the heat of the moment, competitive people. These things happen, blah, blah, blah.
All that eyewash.
But a day later, John Farrell kind of changed his tune and came out and said, that is unacceptable. That can't happen.
Did any of the details ever come out? What did he do besides show him up? Probably showed him up.
I think it was just frustration from being taken out of the game. You know, as you described, you know, Chris Young right before the The 3-run double by Bogarts. You know, guys are competitive. They say, okay, I put these guys on base. I'm gonna get us out of this inning. Sometimes they're given the opportunity to do it. Sometimes they are not. And this is one of the opportunities when Miley did not get the chance, and he let his manager know about it, and they ended up following each other into the tunnel where there are no cameras.
Sometimes it has to do with the transfer from the pitcher to the manager when they exchange, when the manager comes out to get the ball. Sometimes that happens. Ball is not transferred respectfully and gets on the manager's nerves, or vice versa, whatever.
Three balls, 2 strikes. John Gibbons, the first time he was managing the Blue Jays, and then he was the Royals bench coach. Remember, he went to the mound and Ted Lilly slammed the ball in his hand and started to walk away, and John Gibbons grabbed him and pulled him back to the mound.
Yeah.
Morales strikes out, so the Royals have been right on the edge of getting to Wade Miley all day, but in the end it's 5 scoreless innings and a big Boston lead. As always on Sundays, we're joined by the voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews. And would you take a look at that shirt?
What's wrong with it?
Nothing's wrong with it. It's a great shirt.
I like it.
What got into you today?
The shirt. Somebody said, you've been in Ryan's closet. Well, I know you've got a tremendous collection of Hawaiian shirts.
But I don't think I've seen you wear that one before.
Well, maybe I haven't. It's the first day of summer, and I needed to look at you guys. Now, this is kind of dull. I wanted to spice up the booth here a little bit, huh?
Glad you came.
Well, thanks. Okay.
I'm stunned. It looks good on you, by the way.
Wow, well, thanks. Appreciate that.
That is Hawaiian shirt 1 out of how many in your closet?
6.
You have 6?
I do. And that was a tough decision which one to wear.
Yeah, I'll bet. I'll bet you you considered what shoes you're going to wear and what pants and what it all
all the
together.
time.
Yep.
A lot of pressure.
Well, a tough day for the Royals to this point, Denny, but a lot of things to discuss with you as far as Royals history goes. And it was during the last homestand when the Cardinals were here. Oh no, the last road trip when we were in St. Louis. And we both had the opportunity to visit with Whitey Herzog, and Whitey was talking about his days managing the Royals, leading the beginning of that great era of Royals baseball, and preparing to be passed by Ned Yost on the all-time wins list, and that happened in the final game against the Brewers.
Yeah, Whitey really taught the Royals how to win. And of course, 1976, first time the Royals finished first, got into the playoffs, and 3 consecutive years. And then in 79, the Royals had a good year. They had a good team and finished something like 3 games out of first place, set an attendance record here at Kauffman Stadium, but Whitey got fired. So who knows, had he not been released from his job, how many wins he would have accumulated instead of in St. Louis here in Kansas City. Royals have had some really good managers. I mean, let's be honest. Bob Lemon was very good. Joe Gordon was the first manager, Hall of Fame second baseman. Wonderful guy. And really, both Lemon, there's a strikeout. Lemon and Joe Gordon were wonderful players, managers. They just let the guys play. And they loved playing for him. So here's Ned's resume, and the guys love playing for him. And he's really behind every one of them. He's always encouraging. I think he's done a terrific job. I think he was, you say, the perfect guy for the job, but certainly just one notch under perfect, because he came to the Royals at a time when the young guys were developing, and he encouraged them, and he kept saying to everybody, just wait. When these guys mature and figure out their spot in the big leagues and the spotlight, why, look out. And he was right.
He also came to the Royals, and I want both of you guys to talk about this, in a time where you get a lot of players that come to the big leagues where high school coaches have their hands on everything. They're calling every single pitch. They're moving the players around everywhere. The same thing in college. I mean, you wonder who's playing the games, the guys on the field or the coaches or the managers in the dugout. And that's just kind of the way the game is. Ned's predecessor, Trey Hillman, was in on every facet of what was going on with the Royals. And so Ned was kind of a throwback to delegate, let his coaches coach, and the coaches let the players play. And come to find out, we've got a lot of guys here who have a really good feel for the game, and it was Ned who kind of cut them loose.
Well, there's more instruction. I think there's more coaching now when a guy comes to the big leagues than before, because the old school saying was, by the time you get to the big leagues, you pretty well know how to play the game. Maybe not on that level, but they were talking fundamentally sound, whatever position. But now there's more instruction. But I still think that the most successful teams, Rex, are teams where the manager puts down his lineup, and Ned has a pretty set lineup. I think everybody would agree with that. Just let him go out there and play.
That's right, and that's what he's been doing. And he's trusting Dave Ireland, like Rhino was saying. He's entrusting him to help him with pitching decisions. And Ned told me that it was hard at first for him to let guys to delegate, because you know you want to control. It's your ship. You're the one who's guiding it, and if it goes down, you're the one who's going to get blamed. So he said that was hard to let that trust go. But once he did, it freed him up, and it made the team better. And that was his job, make the team better. And I think that's a good improvement for a guy like Ned, who's been in the game as long as he's been in it, to be able to humble himself and say, you know what, I need to learn some things about this managing thing and players. And he's done that.
He has adapted.
Right. And he also talks about the players. They're different than when we played. And you know, it's a different type of, you want to let them give them some freedom. Let them be themselves. Don't try to mold them how you want them. And so he's allowed that freedom in the clubhouse for the players, and that's what's made this team, along with their talent, championship caliber.
Well, and we all played enough, Ryan and I in college, you professionally, to know that especially the game of baseball, maybe more than the other team sports, when you are relaxed and confident and loose and free and easy, it's a much easier game to play. Now, baseball is a hard game, but when you're relaxed, it is easier.
Oh, it's one of the reasons I spent 10 years in the minors. I couldn't relax. I had the wrong mentality. Those guys, I admire the guys that are really even keel, Don't get too excited. Don't get too low. That's the perfect mentality for this sport. But when you're up here and you're excited all the time, and it's hard to slow everything down, it can work against you. But Ned has these guys relaxed and have them playing. They're confident around each other, and their talent is even coming out more.
I did an interview with Carl Yastrzemski, who was playing the Red Sox, a number of years ago, and one of the things he said that really stood out, he said, baseball, it's such a long season, it's such a difficult game, you can't get too high or too low. Whatever happens, one way or the other, good or bad, stay even keel. It will get you through much better than if you're up one day and down the next, and then your emotions are running all over the place. Just cool and stay cool. Be confident. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. I thought that was a great statement.
And it's the truth. There was a young player that came in when I was towards the end of my career named Garrett Anderson. And Chili Davis was a veteran on that team, and Garrett Anderson was a young rookie. We knew he was going to be good, and there was a certain section of lockers that Chili owned. He owned that real estate area, and to get in that section you had to get Chili's permission. And so he wouldn't allow any rookies over there, but he did Garrett Anderson, and he liked Garrett because Garrett never said a word, and he was the calmest young player I've ever seen. And he went on and had a tremendous career, Garrett Anderson, a championship career. But he never got too high or too low. He just went out and raked. Some people thought he was aloof. They thought he was not hustling because that was just kind of his style. But he endured he had a long career because of that mentality.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. And I'll think of a player with the Royals early years who everybody saw he's not really trying that hard. Amos Otis just looked so relaxed and so cool. Well, he should try harder. Well, for him, that would have been really anti-productive.
Carlos Beltran sometimes fell into that.
Perfect example.
Fell into that category of player, I should say. Devon White was another guy who seemed to be going at half speed, but it just looked that way. So, getting back to Whitey Herzog, is that how Whitey managed? Was that the way Ned Yost manages today? Is that how Whitey managed? Because you always hear about Whitey being such a great tactician.
Yeah, but he was so good with his 25 guys, and I think his greatest strength was making the 25th guy on your roster feel like he was as important as your starting lineup. And he had a great way of doing that. He would talk to every one of his guys on the 25-man roster. Say in the span of a homestand, you'd see him in the outfield talking to his right fielder. The next day he'd be talking to his catcher outside the dugout. A couple days later he'd be in the outfield talking to the pitchers while they were shagging during batting practice. He made it a point to get to everybody as much as he could, and I think that was one of his real strengths.
I was one of his 25th guys, and I totally agree. He made me feel like I was his first guy. And he was so good at telling stories. He was good at diffusing tension. He was a relaxing guy. Hey, how you doing, kid? Come on over here. Let me tell you a story.
And if your manager's relaxed, then most of the team will be too.
And it diffused me. I wasn't as uptight. Now, Denny, what do you think about this young man here, Brock Holt, and also Mookie Betts? They've got some speed. They've got some action-type players, Boston does.
I love Mookie Betts. When he was 12 years old, he was sleeping in the back of his stepfather's car with three buddies. They were finishing up a bowling tournament, coming back from that on an interstate highway, and they had a crash. And the next thing Mookie remembered, he was in the middle of the pavement with pebbles in his forehead, a broken jaw, and his broken foot. And I'd say he's recovered pretty nicely from that, but you talk to Mookie Betts, he will tell you that was easily the most scariest moment of his life. And it was during rush hour, by the way. So there you are laying in the middle of an interstate highway during rush hour, and you don't even know what happened. Now, thankfully, he was rescued, he recovered. And by the way, I think as a 14-year-old, he bowled 2 perfect games. So he not only has turned out to be a pretty good baseball player, but don't go to a bowling tournament with him, at least if you're on the opposite side.
And Brock Holt hits it into the right field corner, and Mookie Betts, with that speed, he's going to score easily, and Boston leads 8-0 in the 6th inning.
Mookie made a great base running play yesterday, didn't he? Scoring from second base. I thought that was
great read.
Oh, that was terrific. So he thinks the game as well as plays the game. There's the mental and the physical together, and that's when you got a pretty good player.
And if you weren't with us last night, it was Betts at second base, and on a little tap out in front of the plate, he realized that Salvador Perez had gone far enough away from home plate for that tap, so he not only went to third, but when Perez threw to first, he scored from second base on a little dribbler in front of home plate.
And if you're not busting it between second and third, you can't make that play.
Well, but he was stealing, so I'm gonna give him Salvi a little bit of a break there.
Well, it wasn't Salvi's fault.
No, but guy like that runs. He's almost at third base. Salvi had to make the play because I don't believe the pitcher could have made that. But that was all on Mookie Betts. And that was just a great heads-up play. He was coming, saw it, took it. Good instincts. Very good instincts. Okay, there's balls hit in play now. We'll top it. That's very impressive.
And then, like on a slip and slide, he gets it up sliding until he stopped.
That's got to be the easiest RBI Pedroia's ever gotten on a 10-foot chopper.
As he got to third base, near third base, the light went on. I'm going. I mean, if you hesitate there, don't go, because you're going to be out. Boy, he didn't hesitate much. He sized things up, a great read, and away he went.
And now Pedroia into the left field corner. That makes it 9-0.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, the red flag, the warning flag, went up when Young walked Sandy Leon.
Number 9 hitter.
Hitting about, what, 160?
Right.
And now it's Aaron Brooks, who was called up yesterday to replace Johan Pino on the roster. He warms up. The Royals might need 3 innings out of him today before heading to Seattle. The Royals' next off day will be on Thursday. Boston Red Sox are playing their 14th game in 14 days. They will have an off day tomorrow, and maybe kind of playing loose in that regard, like they know they're at the very end and they have an off day tomorrow. They're going back home. 9 runs, 9 hits in 5 2/3 innings. They have hit 3 home runs. David Ortiz has 1 of them.
When Pedroia batted for the second time with a runner at second and the game still very much in doubt, I said it's never good when you see a good hitter coming to home plate when he's 0 for 11, because he's due. Well, he didn't get a hit on that at bat, and now he's got 2 doubles in a row. So the good hitters are going to get their hits. You just hope that they're out of town by the time they do.
Right.
And I wasn't expecting Chris Young to get hit around like that either. Not here at the K. He's been good.
It's probably the worst command that we've seen him, both in the strike zone, which is very dangerous, and outside the strike zone.
Right, Ryan and I were talking about. That's a fine line for Chris Young. Belt high or just under the letters. About an inch difference there. If he's above that, he gets the pop up. If he's below it, they get him. And velocity has something to do with that.
They have 9 hits, no singles, all doubles and home runs. Now they have a single. Pedroia waved home on Rios, and it's cut off by Hosmer. And the Boston Red Sox, after a 5-run 5th inning, have a 3-run sixth and lead 10-0.
Well, let's change the subject. It's Father's Day, and one of my all-time favorite broadcasting quotes came on Father's Day. Ralph Kiner, the Hall of Fame outfielder and later a great broadcaster with the Mets, on Father's Day a number of years ago, "Oh, it's a beautiful day at Shea Stadium, a wonderful Father's Day. And so, happy birthday to all you fathers."
Oh, we need something to keep it light today. Chevy called to the bullpen. Aaron Brooks will come on in relief of Jason Frazier.
It's turned into a stinker.
DraftKings gives us the players to watch. Tough day for Chris Young. He carried a scoreless streak of 13 1/3 innings into today. Go to DraftKings.com, enter the promo code BROYAL. Denny, we just got done playing the Brewers, and with the Royals down 10-0. And speaking of Whitey Herzog, it kind of ties a few things together, and maybe we shouldn't bring it up with 2 outs in the 6th inning. But on the back burner, I want you to prepare our viewers for one of the greatest comebacks in Royals history in Milwaukee, as Brooks is getting ready to pitch to Hanley Ramirez. He is homered, and Brooks is in with a strike. It's not a 2-out type of a story.
No.
But it just will just have people hanging on the edge of their couch waiting for the bottom of the 6th inning. 1-1.
And it fits right in because we talked about how Whitey Herzog treated his part-time guys, not his starting lineup, but his bench players, whatever you want to call them, down to the 25th guy. And that really, the guys who come off the bench and fill in, figures very prominently in our little story.
2 balls and 1 strike.
And I wish I could remember the exact score. I'm going to say something like 12-1, 11-1, 6th inning. And Whitey cleared the bench. Had a day game the next day. It was a Friday night. He sent all the guys back to the Pfister Hotel, the regulars. Get a good night's rest, and we'll get them tomorrow.
No TV then, right? Either, right? There was no TVs to sit in the lobby and watch.
They had a bar in the lobby of the Pfister at the time. And as it turned out, the guys who took taxis back to the hotel did not go to their rooms and go to bed. They decided they'd go into the little lobby bar, and
which still exists at the Pfister.
Yes, and have a little Kool-Aid or lemonade, whatever they wanted, before they went to bed.
dugout and allowed Denny to finish the story.
So, as fate would have it, Whitey's bench guys came back. Yeah, miraculous. 11-1 or 12-1, whatever it was. They won the game. Take the bus back to the hotel. We walk into the lobby. The guys are sitting there. There's probably 6 or 7 of them. And
on their 4th or 5th Kool-Aid.
At least. Hey, we won the game. Oh, yeah, sure you did. That was the retort from the bar. Yeah, right. That was really funny. No, we did. We really won the game. And they really did. They couldn't believe it. So, yeah, that is probably the greatest comeback in Royals history, at least the biggest deficit. But Whitey's bench guys came through for him.
Long run out for Infante, and he will catch up to it. So there you go. Inspired with that Royals history. Here we go. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 6th. They just need 11 runs. Gerard Dyson will lead off the bottom of the 6th inning. Our Sonic Slam inning, and our contestant is Andy Shelley from Lenexa. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Andy wins $2,100. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Andy wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Gerard Dyson fouls the first pitch away. We welcome you back up to the broadcast booth with the Hawaiian shirt version of Denny Matthews. Yeah,
look at this.
Yeah, this is my oldest son Micah made this for me a few years ago for Father's Day. It's a little foam bow tie, but that's just the beginning. De Aza has moved from right to left that he makes a play. So it just depends on what kind of a mood I'm in. If I'm in a bow tie mood, which is never, I can wear this. Or how about this? You just flip this thing around over here. Huh?
Is that unbelievable?
Oh,
now
I've got
now I've got
I bet you don't have one of those.
No, I don't.
How about that?
My boys are creative, but they're not that creative. But you got all colors on there, so you can match any.
Yeah, I mean, it goes with any blazer,
any jacket,
any pants,
and you can turn it around.
Yeah,
for Valentine's Day.
I'm telling you.
You got hearts on it.
How about that, huh?
Way to go. Well, he's very
Micah?
Well, he's very creative. I mean, you've got a budding, young, creative talent in your very house.
You know, he's really into clothes right now. I mean, he has to approve or disapprove everyone's outfit every day. So who knows? Maybe a few years ago, this was kind of the precursor to that.
5?
Well, he's 5.
Yeah. Well, most 5-year-olds are into clothes.
Yeah.
I know you were at age 5. So was I. Oh,
that video you showed me this morning, Ryan, of your 3 boys running around in the sprinklers was beautiful.
Oh man. Rios is 0 for 3 after a ground out to short. Wade Miley, boy, they just seem to be so close to break through against him. The sprint cut to the game, but here he is, 5 2/3 scoreless innings.
Doing a great job of keeping that slider on the outer half, and usually a left-hander, he's going to try to bury that and back-leg it to the righties in their right back leg, but he's done a good job of backdooring it. Fastball, they've been on him, but you know, like it wasn't Chris Young's day. Well, it's Wade Miley's day.
Well, he got out of the first inning, and that was huge. And if you recreate that inning in your mind, like Rios lined hard to center field. So if that's in the gap, then it's a totally different game. And then it's the Royals up by the score of 3-0, perhaps. So
that's his biggest out.
Yep, no question.
1 and 2 on Omar Infante. Holt backs up. That's a big bounce and throws out Infante. 6 scoreless innings for Miley, allowing just 5 hits. Baseball is brought to you by Dodge. Come discover great deals during the Dodge Drive and Discover event. By your Midwest Ford dealers, visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Gerard Dyson stays in left field after batting for Alex Gordon in the bottom of the 6th inning. Aaron Brooks. And a little bloop up the right field line, and Xander Bogaerts, who has the biggest hit of the game, is in with his 2nd double of the game. The Boston Red Sox have 11 hits today, 1 single. Everything else has been an extra base hit.
Doinkers really help, especially that little jam shot there. You flare that out there, and if you have any kind of wheels at all, you see that coming out of the box, and that's an automatic double. We can run. Fielder can't get to it in time. I like their speed guys. Betts, Holt, this kid Bogaerts is good, and then you know I'm glad to see that Blake Swihart, their catcher, that came out of last night's game, is not hurt badly. I mean, he hurt his leg, but that guy can run too. So there's some action players that the Red Sox have.
The last thing he thought of on that play that you're talking about, Rex, the last thing he thought about was a play at third base on him. And that's why indecision, all of a sudden it's a play, and now I better slide. No, I better stand. That's dangerous. And that's when you turn an ankle or jam a knee. Something bad will happen.
We talked about that, but how many times, Denny, in your long broadcasting career, have you seen a first baseman make that play?
Hardly ever. And that's, I'm sure Swihart was thinking the same thing.
Messed him up.
You bet.
It kind of takes us back to what we were talking about last inning. Ned Yost letting the coaches coach, the coaches letting the players play. Sometimes you freewheel it like that, and you go against the so-called book and you make a big play.
But he has those kind of skills. Hosmer has extreme skills. Feet, glove, arm.
And a great feel for the game. Good
That's
instinct.
exactly how I was going to say, mind.
Denny, while we have you, and we've been talking about some Royals history, on this date in 1971, June 21st, 1971, the Royals signed their second-round pick, an 18-year-old shortstop from El Segundo, California, George Brett. 44 years ago today.
That worked out pretty well.
Do you remember, and this is hard to think back because George did so many things, but do you remember anything about him, hearing about him when they drafted about him, or when he was in the lower levels of the minor leagues?
Yeah, you would hear snippets here and there, and they weren't really sure about position. You mentioned shortstop. Well, obviously third base is where he landed. He played some first later, but he developed in the minor leagues, and then it took a lot of work, as everybody knows the story. Once he got to the big leagues, there was a lot of work involved, and I think at one point in time he was hitting under 200 when he and Charlie went to work, Charlie Lau, and yeah, he was, I've often said, the most mentally tough player the Royals have ever had, and he loved to be in games and in situations where he would say, this is a clutch situation. And George didn't run from it. He embraced it. And that's why he was so good in clutch situations. Mentally tough.
Not too shabby physically either. As Willie Randolph told me, there's two guys that'll end your career, and they're both on the Royals. George Brett and Hal McRae, watch out. They're coming into second base to break your leg.
Ooh. Yeah, they went barreling into second base. That's the best way you can put it.
Okay, I'll be careful.
It's the old hockey expression. They ran hard to second base and arrived there in ill humor.
Believe it.
So that was one memorable moment in Royals history on this date. And I'm sure that was a big deal in Kansas City, that second round pick. That's a big deal for the scouts. They had no idea exactly who they were drafting. Also on this date in 1986, this was on everybody's radar. There was nothing off the radar about this one. Bo Jackson signed on this date in 1986. That just, I remember I was in high school. I mean, that just stunned the world. Bo Jackson's going to play baseball?
Which he did at Auburn, and obviously pretty well. And I remember his first batting practice session right after signing, and you talk about it, they looked like golf balls leaving his bat. I mean, my goodness, I mean, balls were leaving Kauffman Stadium in spots where baseballs normally don't leave Kauffman Stadium, and everybody was just astounded. Art Stewart was very instrumental in the process of getting Bo Jackson signed. Of course, they were taking a chance, and Art, I remember his remarks after watching that first batting practice. He just kind of walked away shaking his head, and everybody remembers the remarks that were made by Buck O'Neill. He said, I walked into the ballpark and I was hearing a sound that I really only heard maybe once or twice in my life. And he looked down, and there was Bo Jackson in the batting cage hitting what appeared to be golf balls out of the ballpark. But, you know, the one thing, and I wonder how he thinks about it, Bo, what would have happened if he just had concentrated on baseball? And I wonder if he looks back and thinks the same thing. Who knows?
It's almost like he you know, he was a Heisman Trophy winner, and everyone figured he was going to be an NFL Hall of Famer. But, you know, as he explained, baseball was his first love. It's almost like he played football as a hobby, you know, just something to stay busy. And, you know, what a unique situation he was in to play both at such a high level. But then he was beloved here on the baseball field, and then he was played for the Chiefs' biggest rival on the football field. How was he received when he was at Arrowhead wearing a Raiders uniform?
Not well.
Really? No. Even though what he did on this side of the parking lot?
Yeah, I mean, they were booing. I mean, hey, the Raiders. You're talking about the Raiders.
Right.
If he'd been playing for the New York Jets, I think it would have been different. But no, the Raiders were hated, and Bo put on the wrong uni when he played football.
Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Aaron Brooks has pitched an inning and a third scoreless. Denny, you take that Hawaiian shirt back over to radio.
I'll bring it back and hang it in your closet.
All Red Sox in this one as Panera takes us around the American League. J.D. Martinez, 3 home runs on the day and 6 RBI, so a huge one for him over the Yankees. Cleveland gets their first walk-off win of the year, 1-0 the final on a sacrifice fly. The Cubs right now leading Minnesota, and Houston one better than Seattle, though those are 2 of the Royals' next 3 opponents. Our Mazda game break takes us to the Twin Cities, and that would be Anthony Rizzo deep over the 403-foot mark, and we'll see if the Cubs can hold on and keep the Twins 3.5 games back. Ryan?
Thank you, Joel. Tough day for Royals fans, but a great Father's Day. Fathers and sons, grandfathers here today taking in a baseball game, and no matter what happens, will be a winning homestand. 37,975 here today. We've had a little bit of rain off and on. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 7th inning. The Red Sox have made a pitching change, and before we get to that, the fantastic All-Star finalists have been announced, and we want to help Matt Gary win a trip to the All-Star game in Cincinnati to represent the Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City. Go to foxsports.com/fantastic all-star to vote now through June 24th. Christian Colon playing at third base today, giving Mike Moustakas the game off. And here is Alexei Ogando. He came on in relief of Eduardo Rodriguez in game 1 of the series and pitched 2/3 scoreless.
Good hard fastball, slider, and a split finger. Mid-90s thrower. Maybe a little above that. Arms and legs coming at you.
3 flyouts for Colon today. 1 down in the 7th inning. I should mention we had Denny with us, and in a blowout game we were talking about some Royals history, and Ned Yost passing Whitey Herzog on this date in 1971. George Brett signed on this date in 1986. Bo Jackson signed also on this date in 1995. Our good buddy and colleague Jeff Montgomery collected save number 200.
Monty, away.
And the Royals became the first franchise in history to have 2 different 200 save closers. Monty joined Dan Quisenberry.
Way to go, Monty.
Monty went on to save 304.
Look at that. That might have been the slow boy breaking ball that he told me he threw every once in a while. You just saw it. Is that good four-seamer?
Is that Fred Lynn?
Looked like it in the Tigers uniform.
Yeah. Monty's taking some time off. He'll be back during the next homestand. Alcides Escobar is 0 for 2 with a walk. Both of his outs were hard hit. The Royals had several hard hit outs against Wade Miley, but Miley got through 6 innings and allowed just 5 hits with big run support. 2-0 on Escobar. As we remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. 2-1 on Escobar. I think Wade Miley likes Kauffman Stadium. In 2 starts against the Royals here, he's had 13 1/3 scoreless innings. And of course, that 1 start against the Royals in Arizona, they tagged him for 10 runs in 4 2/3 innings. Royals left 7 on base in the first 5 innings against Miley, so they had base runners all over the place, but Miley seemed to come up with the right pitch when he needed it. And Alcides Escobar walks for the 2nd time in a game.
That hasn't happened ever, I don't think, Escobar.
Oh, you're going to drop an ever?
I might do that.
Wow.
He's a hacker. I'll have to get up on some research on that. But you know, Miley, man, he's pitched well here at the K. And he deserves a lot of credit for shutting down a really hot offense. What is it, 6 games now?
That's the 10th time he's done it.
Sorry, Esky.
Wow.
Okay, but it is the first time this year. Okay, good.
Yeah, so that hasn't ever happened.
Never.
This year.
Never done that.
This year.
No, I'm happy for him. And that's important. Coming into the season in spring training, they were talking about Escobar leading off. Now, does he have the plate discipline to do that? Can he get on base? Well, he hits his way on.
One and 2 on Lorenzo Cain. Boston Red Sox finished last year in last place, 1 year after winning the World Series. They are in last place in their division as we speak, and yet they've given the Royals a bad time the last 2 seasons. They are on their way to winning their 8th game in the last 10 against KC, and at the end of 7, Boston leads 10-0.
teaching me how to play this game that we love. Love you, man. Thank you.
Just wanted to wish my father, Steve, happy Father's Day. Been a great role model and an example to me and my siblings, and happy to have him on our trip last week, and just wanted to say I love you, Dad.
That's Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Slugger had his dad out here today. So that's the good news. Some warm Father's Day wishes. A cooler than expected day at Kauffman Stadium. And the bad news is the Boston Red Sox have a 10-0 lead in the top of the 8th inning. And Mookie Betts has been right in the middle of it. That ball's hit well to center field. Lorenzo Cain is all the way back, and Mookie Betts hits it off the base of the wall. And if he gets a chance to hit again, he would just need a single to hit for the cycle.
Man, is it extremely loud off of his bat today. Man, this guy is a player. He can rake. Center fielder with some power. Yeah, man, that's a crisp sound off the bat. Lorenzo Cain ran out of room. He was in that warning track and everything. There's no chance to hit the wall.
And here's Brock Holt, who did hit for the cycle on Monday, becoming the first Red Sox hitter since 1996 to hit for the cycle. Now they have a chance to have two guys in the same week if they can get around to Betts again. Betts has a double, a home run, a walk, and a triple. And the Boston Red Sox have 12 hits, 13 hits, and only one single as they hit back-to-back triples.
They are finding every hole on the diamond here at the K. If it wasn't Chris Young, it was Frazier, and now it's Brooks. Red Sox offense is scalding hot. Third base coach Brian Butterfield might need some ice for his shoulder from waving all those runners home today.
13 hits, 12 extra base hits for Boston.
Man. Brooks has all 4 pitches, and not one of them really stands out from the other. They're all really good. Throws a lot of strikes. Determined guy, having a hard time getting established up here. Keep pounding that strike zone. Fastball, slider, change, and curve. 90 to 94.
$14 hits and just their second single. That is a 3-hit game for Dustin Pedroia, who at one point today was 0 for 2 and 0 for his last 12. And now he's going to come out for a pinch runner. Travis Shaw will take over at first base. So the Red Sox with 12 extra base hits. That ties a Royals record for extra base hits allowed back in 1996 at Seattle. Royals allowed 12 extra base hits to the Mariners, and that would have been what? Edgar Martinez, who's now the Mariners hitting coach, Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner.
Yep.
Mike Blowers, who's their television analyst now.
Joey Cora.
Yeah. That'll put some fear into you. Although Joey Cora, he had one of the extra base hits. He had a double.
There you go.
Jay Buhner had one. Russ Davis.
Yep.
Edgar Martinez had 3. Alex Rodriguez was still at the Mariners.
They were in our division, and I was playing for the Angels then. Those guys were tough.
Didn't have a whole lot of pitching, but they could hit.
No, and the year before that, we lost to them in a 1-game playoff in '95. At the end of the season. Darn it. Look at this guy.
That's great. And not a bad idea.
That's a great idea, especially if you're sitting down lower. We got a man there.
Future Royals catcher, and I guess he likes the hockey style mask.
Beautiful.
That's right. And when the batter comes up, he puts the mask down. Smart young man. Well, nope, he's going to put it up because it's a right-hand batter. Rusney Castillo out in front of an off-speed pitch. He bats for the first time. Colon out at second base. Double play. Red Sox get 2 in the top of the 8th inning, and they lead 12-0.
Nice turn.
City Royals, they may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg on this Father's Day at Kauffman Stadium with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman. The producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. And the rest of our Fox Sports Kansas City crew, we will say goodbye to them for 10 days. The Royals will be on the road in Seattle, Oakland, and Houston. Travis Shaw ran for Pedroia. He'll go to third base. Brock Holt goes from third to second. And Junichi Tazawa will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. So a left-hand batter at the plate. And that little guy's got his mask on.
Yeah, he's ready. Tazawa, he's 90 to 95 with his sinking fastball, slider, curve, and split finger, and that young man is enjoying his daddy.
Base hit right field for Hosmer. He has a 2-hit game. The beautiful Pacific Northwest, and we'll be landing there. That's about what the sky will look like when we arrive. All 9 games on Fox Sports Kansas City. Monday through Wednesday night in Seattle, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday afternoon in Oakland, and then next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights in Houston. We'll get a first-hand look at the surprising Houston Astros, who just continue to hang in there. They aren't as hot as they were earlier in the season, but still 10 games above 500 and a 2.5 game lead over the Rangers. And the Rangers are surprised. The teams that were supposed to be duking it out in the American League West are looking up at the Rangers and the Astros.
Always fun.
It was going to be another rebuilding season for both the Astros and the Rangers, with many people picking the Mariners to win the division after getting Nelson Cruz. Oakland advanced to the wild card game last year. The Angels won 98 games, but they're all looking up at the 2 teams from the state of Texas. That ball gets through Leon, but Hosmer's not going anywhere in a 12-run game. Kendrys Morales had the big hit for the Royals last night, a 2-run home run in a 5-run 5th inning, and he's come back tonight with a couple of singles. He has 5 hits in this series. Out at second, and Morales, who has quick feet and is a good athlete, avoids the double play. Right, Hud?
Extreme pop, too. Don't forget that. Look at those pythons, man. Look at those forearms put together. I was excited when they got him. I can't help it. I had to just share with everybody, you know, what we were getting, and look what he's done.
You're still excited, I think.
I love all these players. All of them, every one of them.
But I would think if somebody had been out of the country for the last 6 months and they just tuned in Royals baseball on opening day and they've been following us through the first 66 games of the regular season, listening to you talk about Kendrys Morales, I think we're going to have a lot of fans who are going to be disappointed if Kendrys does not eventually lead the league in stolen bases.
Well, they'll like that slugging percentage.
Well, we know about the slugging percentage.
Good thing they don't pay him for steals, but he
but
runs.
They pay you to talk about him.
He runs better than Billy. That's what I told you.
That's great.
Yeah.
Which is like being the best ice fisherman in Florida. Well, Kendrys has already punished the Minnesota Twins this year, and he played part of the season last season for them. Now we go to Seattle, and they continue to struggle to score runs, even with Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz. And will they regret even more not keeping Kendrys Morales or signing him to a long-term contract after a couple of seasons ago? They gave him the qualifying offer, but Kendrys tested the market, and Maybe that'll be a little extra motivation for him in that series with the Mariners.
Sure it will. He traded for Mark Trumbo. Looking for some offense there. We'll talk about that tomorrow night.
Dyson down on strikes, 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. And now Alex Rios. Rios is, and this sounds odd in a 12-0 game, but Rios was the biggest out. Denny brought this up when he joined us. This was Wade Miley's biggest out back in the bottom of the 1st inning. Wade Miley, who ended up with 6 scoreless innings with 2 outs and nobody on in the 1st. Hosmer single. He had a rocket to center. Morales single. That ball was hard hit. Gordon walked, so they were loaded up with 2 outs. Rios is in a hot streak, and he lined to center field. He hit that one right on the nose, and if he's a little bit out in front or he's a little more late, he probably hits a gap. And with Gordon at first, the Royals probably score 3, but good fortune for Wade Miley, and he ran with that and turned in 5 more scoreless innings. And somehow the Red Sox get the out at second base in front of Kendrys Morales.
Can't believe it.
We've played 8, and the Red Sox lead 12-0. And coming up tomorrow, our coverage of the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup continues as Alex Morgan, Abby Wambach, Megan Rapinoe, and Team USA continue their quest for a 3rd title as they take on Colombia. It's a win or go home matchup for both teams. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports 1, and catch the whole tournament streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Aaron Brooks in the 9th inning. He recorded the final out of the 6th. Now he would like a 1-2-3 inning. The Red Sox would like to send at least 5 to the plate in this inning and give Mookie Betts a shot at hitting for the cycle. Good pitch to Bogaerts. No balls, 2 strikes. 2 doubles, 3 RBIs for Bogaerts. His 3-run double in the 5th inning really opened this game wide open. Turned a 4-0 game into a 7-0 game. And that right there is a new Royals record. 13 extra base hits allowed. 15 hits for the Red Sox, 13 extra base hits.
Never know what you're going to see at a ball game.
And that's a third double for Xander Bogaerts.
Incredible. Just going with the pitch. Get the Red Sox out of town.
Down and away to Mike Napoli. You know, it's interesting, all this offense, and the Red Sox, they have 3 hitters who are without a hit. They have 15 hits from 6 hitters, and Napoli is one of those who is without a hit. Rios makes a play in right field. Well, we told you at the beginning of the game and all throughout the series, they have really warmed up at the plate. The Red Sox have in the month of June, and look at that. Shaw and Castillo were not in the starting lineup, so they are the players in the game right now. But before them, Pedroia and Ramirez chipped in with a combined 4 hits. But the lower third of the order, Napoli, De Aza, who hits now, and Leon are hitless.
Royals go to Fenway Park August 20th, 4-game series. Maybe the Red Sox offense have cooled by then.
One ball, 1 strike. Aaron Brooks, Royals 9th round pick 4 years ago out of Cal State San Bernardino. Known for his control in the minor leagues, very few walks. That's what the Royals like the most about Aaron Brooks. He is a strike thrower. Just 2 years ago, he had the fewest walks with at least 100 innings pitched in the Texas League. 103 2/3 innings. He walked 11. He went around, and no pressure. Here comes Sandy Leon, and if Mookie Betts is going to get a shot at hitting for the cycle, Leon needs to get on. All of New England is resting on the shoulders of Sandy Leon. There he is, a single shy of the cycle.
Yeah, and he's not even in the on-deck circle. He's as close to home plate as you can get. He's going to get a shot.
Get a shot.
Oh, man.
And Mookie Betts, his job now is to run to home plate and coach for Bogaerts, who will go in standing. 13-0 Boston. And Leon comes through. That's the first hit for a Red Sox hitter in the lower third of the order. And now Mookie Betts, a single shy of hitting for the cycle.
I mean, this kid has just been unbelievable. Everything he hits is either out of the yard or avoiding a Royals glove. Finding Trevor turf everywhere here at the Cave.
And he popped it up. He got a hittable pitch. And unless Kane loses this in the sun, which he doesn't, that's it. So the Red Sox came very close to having 2 hitters hit for the cycle in the same week. Still a big day for Betts, big series for Betts and the Red Sox. coming up. So is Joel Goldberg with Boulevard Royals Live. A tough finish to the homestand, but it will still be a winning homestand, as the Royals will be 4-2 unless they finish with a miracle with Koji Uehara, the Red Sox closer. He will pitch the ninth, get some work in. He has 14 saves and a 2.86 ERA.
Koji 88-92. There's a guy here that's a closer and has had a lot of success without a power fastball. Slider, curve, and a split finger.
And by the way, in case you're wondering, it's still early, but it feels good to be in first place. The Cubs lead Minnesota 8-0 in the top of the ninth inning, so the Royals will not lose any of their lead over Minnesota. No balls, 2 strikes.
It was nice to hear earlier today that the Boston Red Sox picked up former Royals catcher Eric Kratz. I'm thinking that that's because of Blake Swihart's injury yesterday. They're going to be short of a catcher. I'm happy for Eric. I knew someone would pick him up.
Word was that Mike Napoli was the backup catcher today. Swihart was not available. Omar Infante going to try and extend his hitting streak to 7 games, and he will. A leadoff single in the 9th inning. And the Royals, with 3 more hits in this inning, will try and extend their streak of games with at least 10 hits to 7 straight. They haven't done that in 4 years. Ball 1 to Christian Colon. 0 for 3 with 3 flyouts. 1 to left, 1 to center, 1 to right. Diaz out in left field. 4 flyouts for Colon, 1 down in the 9th inning. Well, you just mentioned Eric Kratz, and the Royals had a decision to make between Kratz, who started the season as their backup catcher, and Drew Butera, who became available. Butera out into shallow right center field, and that'll drop for a base hit. And Butera gets his first hit of the day. And we heard some comments from him before the game talking about his father, Sal Butera. You know, it's one thing for father and son to both play in the major leagues, but it's another thing for the 2 players to be so close in their roles. Sal Butera was a successful major league backup catcher and backed up some pretty good all-star catchers. Gary Carter, Butch Weiniger, Lance Parrish, to name a few. And it really helped him prepare his son to be a backup catcher, and most notably for Joe Mauer in Minnesota, when Mauer was winning batting titles and MVPs and Gold Gloves. And so Drew learned that from his father, the mentality of accepting that role, and Royals are happy to have him. 0-2 on Escobar.
Yeah, they like Butera's catching skills. You notice this, the few starts that Butera's had, we've never had to say, well, Salvi would have made that play, or you know, nah, he's doing exactly what they want him to do.
Good point. And you pointed out a couple of nice defensive blocks he had today, which were not just your average blocks. Good hands back there. Royals like his, not only his ability to call a game, but communicate with his pitchers, get a feel for what that pitcher has that day.
And like any backup player, you have to have really good work ethic and have that ability to go out and stay sharp and stay ready to go when you get called on. He's always blocking balls, and he's working extra, running out to the bullpen, and staying busy. He's earning his keep.
1-1 on Lorenzo Cain. And now the Royals are down to their last strike. Royals won the first 2 games of this homestand against Milwaukee and split the first 2 with Boston. So it'll be a 3-2 homestand, setting up a 9-game road trip. But the game and the inning isn't over. Royals avoid the shutout. Lorenzo Cain will drive in 2. He will end up with a triple. And a big crowd was here for the first pitch. Almost 38,000. Many have left, but the ones who remain have a chance to get out of their seats and make some noise.
It's nice to see the Royals taking that goose egg off the board with a beautiful opposite field triple. 3rd of the year for Cain. And his 32nd RBIs came across. Nice job. Ball's right down the middle. I'm not so sure that Tazawa will put that ball there. I'm sorry, Uehara would put that ball there in a real close game like that down the middle. But I know hitters, when a game's out of hand like this, and no one is wasting an at-bat. No one's giving any at-bats away.
These fans haven't given up. Still chanting, "Let's go Royals." With the Royals down to their last out of the 9th inning. Good looking splitter. Back with that same pitch. And once again, the Royals are down to their last strike. To De Aza, and that's the game and the series. So it's a 3-2 homestand, and the Royals will forget about this one and get ready for the 9-game road trip beginning in Seattle tomorrow night. We will wrap things up when we come back.